Hey, what's up, guys? I want to do just a quick kind of review, tabletop kind of thing of a new Glock I just got. It's a Glock Generation 5. Sorry, the lighting sucks in here this time of day, but this is the new Gen 5. It's different. It's not revolutionary. There's probably 8,000 videos on it now for guys that have a lot better cameras and a lot better lighting and stuff, that you can see all the detailed aspects of it that they can cover a whole lot better than I can here. But I just want to kind of bring it to you guys. I got this particular one here. I have 100 rounds through this one, and I have 250 rounds through this one. Both Gen 5 Glock 19s. This one, one thing I've noticed, I'll cover it here, is Glock knuckle. Some guys get it, some guys don't. I do get it, especially at, like, I went to a 4-day class, and by day 3 I was having to tape up my finger. I mean, I had a blister that was actually, the skin was popped and everything. It was nasty. So you know, I had to actually tape my finger up and stuff on a long 4-day class, because it does bother me. Some guys' hands just happen to fit on the 3s and 4s and don't get that that Glock knuckle or whatever you want to call it. But this particular, the Gen 5, seemed like it has more pressure when I shoot it, which is kind of weird because there's no finger grooves. So you'd think that'd kind of eliminate that problem, but to me it was actually more pronounced on the Gen 5 than it was in any other generations that I have. So this particular one, I did just a slight undercut, and it alleviated that problem that I was having with it. So it was just with a slight undercut. I don't know if you can kind of see that in comparison. Get a better view there. That one to that one. Like I said, nothing extreme or radical or whatever, just enough to kind of clearance that there. But that was an issue that I did have with the Gen 5s. As far as reliability goes, they've shot fine. No malfunctions, no problems. The trigger is different. I wouldn't say it's the end-all be-all greatest Glock trigger, but it just depends on what you like or how you like your triggers. The Gen 3s kind of come to a little bit of a wall and then kind of a mush feel as you pull through it, and then breaks. The Gen 4s have, you know, the slack. They come to a really firm, defined wall and then snap through it. And then this one kind of doesn't really have much of a wall. It starts building pressure right at the take-up, and then you pull through and then it goes off. It doesn't really, like I said, you don't really know when it's going to go off. It doesn't have that solid wall and then a break. It just kind of pushes through and kind of increases weight as it goes, and then pop, it goes off. So depending on the trigger you personally like, it may be a great improvement for you, or it may be just kind of average, or you may not like it as much as, say, a Gen 4. If you're really like triggers on a Gen 4, you might not like them on a Gen 5. If you like triggers on a Gen 3, you might like the Gen 5 a little better. But like I said, it's not a vast improvement. It is somewhat of an improvement. I like it a little better. I'd say it's probably a 10% better trigger out of the box. One part I did swap on it just to see if it would work is the connectors. The connectors are the same between the Gen 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. That's about the only part that's the same in the gun, just about, with some few exceptions. But the minus connector, factory Glock minus connectors, or aftermarket connectors, if you run them, will work. I don't use aftermarket stuff like that, but I did have a minus connector that I had, and I put it in that particular Gen 5, and it seemed to take off maybe half a pound, or I didn't actually get a chance to measure it yet, but it is noticeable different in the trigger stroke. Another thing, like I said, everybody's covered, you know, they kind of have the angle grinds of the Glock 26, 27 in the front, and yeah, it doesn't really match the frame, but there's really, I mean, it's enough to catch your nail on, but it's not like, some seem to look like there was more there. I don't know, maybe on the 17s there's more, but it's there, but like I said, if you can kind of tell, it's enough to catch your nail on, but not much more than that. So I wouldn't really, you know, call it a huge negative or whatever. Yeah, Glock should have cleaned that up, you know, and kind of followed the contour, but it's not as bad as some videos I've seen made it out to be. They take the Gen 4 back straps, same thing. This has the medium back strap on it. These particular ones have the 3-dot night sights, just steel night sights. These are probably going in for RMR cuts. As you've seen in my previous videos, I've been really dedicated to the RMR platform lately, and it's been paying off. I'm shooting them really well now. Shooting them pretty fast. I'd say I'm almost there as far as speed goes, but accuracy, I'm definitely better with the RMR than I am with iron sights now. I can, at distance, once you get past about 10 yards, I can shoot an RMR better than I can just a regular standard set of iron sights. Another improvement, was the flared magwell, the little cutout. I've heard some negative comments about that. My hands don't get that pinch that some people talk about. I got kind of, well, I wear between a large and extra large glove, and it fits fine, and my pinky don't sink in there when I'm shooting, and I don't notice any discomfort. And like I said, I shot 100 rounds through this, 250 through that, different days, but I did do 250 straight and 100 straight, and I didn't get any kind of irritation as far as that little cutout. Magazine changes, you've probably seen, they got the little longer lip on them, and the orange follower, but the bodies are pretty much the same deal. I do like that new lip. I think it's pretty convenient. I usually run a Vickers plate, but what's nice about these, they don't add the extra width like a Vickers plate when you're concealed carrying, and you still do have a way to get a hold of that mag and strip it out of the gun if you need to on a malfunction clearance drill. That's Gen 5. These will not be on the California roster, unfortunately. If you guys aren't really familiar how the California roster works, nothing can be added that doesn't have micro stamping. So any gun, I think after 2011 or whenever Schwarzenegger signed that in, will never be added to the California roster until it's defeated in court or eliminated, by some means. But these will not be added, unfortunately. But if you're a California resident, I mean, this is a Gen 3, and as far as I wouldn't feel, I mean, it sucks not being able to buy a new gun you want. But the Gen 3s, I think, I mean, there's not a lot of time in the Gen 5s yet, people shooting them, but I think the Gen 3s are, in my opinion, and what I've experienced, are more reliable with lower powered ammunition. Say you get some real light, like PMC, even some companies' factory reloads that are really light. They tend to cycle better in a Gen 3 with a single recoil spring. The triggers, I think, are better on the Gen 3s than the Gen 4s. I personally like them better. You can shave the finger grooves off, you can have it stippled, you can get all the advantages that you truly get out of the Gen 5, which would be no finger grooves and a little more aggressive texture, because I do like kind of an aggressive texture on a gun that you're going to carry, especially, if you're in a range, hot range or whatever, and you're sitting there shooting, you're sweating, and it starts getting slippery. So texturing is nice. The Gen 5 texturing, Gen 4 texturing as well is nicer, I think, than the Gen 3, but that could all be resolved with either send it out or a Dremel and a soldering iron. I mean, it's possible to fix that. So Gen 3 with the RMR, and this is the Lone Wolf Alpha slide. Gen 4, same basic as a Gen 5, but with the finger grooves, and like I said, it doesn't have the ambidextrous slide stop. Now, if you're a left-hander, that's kind of the Gen 5. Then I could see it being a game changer for you, because you do have the slide stop, and if you do use it as a slide release, it is there for you if you're a left-handed shooter. I'm a right-handed shooter, so I don't benefit from that advantage, but I could definitely see that being an advantage for a left-handed shooter. Gen 4s, like I said, I like them. I like triggers a little better. As far as carrying defense ammo, they work fine. Standard semi-spec ammo, they work fine. It's just when you really get into the lower base ammunition that a Gen 3, and I've seen that, I've experienced it in classes and stuff, they're a little more forgiving on lighter loaded ammo. But other than that, I would say, I've experienced the same with reliability with the 3s and the 4s with decent ammo. And like I said, that's just the standard Gen 4. It's got the Lone Wolf slide, RMR. This one's the RM07 setup. This is a Gen 4 that is basically done like a Gen 5 before the Gen 5 came out. I shaved the finger grooves off. I did my own little in-house stipple job there. It's probably not the prettiest in the world, but it gets the job done, gets you some texture there, gets the finger grooves eliminated, and then did a really slight undercut and kind of smooth the sides to kind of eliminate that Glock knuckle, especially from long shooting strings or classes or numerous holster draws. So that's a 4 setup, really the way I like it set up. And it basically mimics the Gen 5. It just didn't have the front undercut for stripping the magazines. But good gun. And if I could say there'd be one Glock you should buy out of all of these, my favorite Glock frame texture is the Gen3 RTF2 finish, and they're re-releasing them, I believe, this month or next month, into this month or next month. They're rebatching them. Glock is doing the standard RTF2 Glocks in the 19, 17. I think even the 22s and the 23s are getting reran. So keep an eye on those guys if you see them in your local gun store, or have somebody order one if you're interested in it. If not, Vickers makes these. This is a Vickers Glock 19, and it's got the RTF2 finish. But honestly, I would take this over a Gen5 if I had the choice. If it was sitting there in the cabinet and they're the same price, I would go RTF2. You're getting the Gen3 single spring, which, like I said, is more reliable on lower powered ammunition, so over a broader range of ammo. The Gen3 trigger isn't that bad. It's got some squish to it, but it doesn't have like that defined wall like the 4 does. But they shoot well. This finish is really tacky. I mean, it's awesome. It's not to the point though where it binds your shirt up or something. I always wear an undershirt when I carry, so it doesn't rub against my bare skin. If you don't, this might not be for you. If you don't wear an undershirt, because like I said, it is an aggressive texture, but not so aggressive, especially in 9mm, because it's not moving in your hand really much at all to causing irritation. In 40, like in a Glock 23, it might cause you a little discomfort if that gun's kind of moving under recoil in your grip. But this would be my choice, guys. And like I said, these were on the California roster, the RTF2s, as long as they release them the same way they were. I know the 17s are coming out with the fish gills, which are on the roster. The 19s, there was some talk that it wouldn't be fish gill, and it may not be on the roster. So there's going to be a fine line there, but check it out. If you're interested, you may be able to get one of those. If not a 19, at least a 17 in this finish, or the frame finish, the RTF2. But check it out. So overall thoughts on the Gen5. Decent gun, not groundbreaking difference. It's kind of still a Glock. It does what all the other Glocks do. It's cool if you really, those finger grooves, if you happen to have a hand that is just the wrong size, it didn't fit in those slots right, it's going to be an advantage for you. If you're left-handed, I could see that being a huge advantage for you, being able to activate that slide lock or slide release, however you want to work it. New barrel, I didn't really notice much of an accuracy difference when I shot it against the iron sight Gen3. I was right there about the same. I mean, I couldn't personally tell any real difference on it. Trigger, different, maybe your cup of tea, may not. I'd say, handle one in a store if you can rent one at a range or something. If you got somewhere that has one available for rent, give it a try before you go out and buy it. If you had a Gen3 set up the way you want, like if you got night sights on yours, or whatever bells and whistles you got in it that you like and you like shooting it, is it worth upgrading to a Gen5? I would say no. Just because if you're gonna have to take a hit and lose money or whatever, if you just want to go out and buy one because you want one, cool. They're awesome guns. They're a Glock. They're gonna work like everything else. But I wouldn't say I would take a financial hit of selling something just to think I'm getting an upgrade per se to the Gen5. Good gun, but you can have me a 2, 3, or 4. Actually a 2. I'd love to have a 2. But 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'd be comfortable with all of them. If I wasn't going to carry a weapons light, I mean, Gen 2 wouldn't have the option for the rail. But they all work, guys. But I just want to show you the Gen 5 and the little issue I was having. The way that was kind of surprised me that without the finger grooves, I actually had more Glock knuckle than with the finger grooves. So there it is, guys. If you see one, if you get a chance to shoot one, check it out. At least feel the trigger. It may be for you, and it may not, But I like mine. I do like the coating too, the new coating. It is kind of slicker, like they say. It's supposed to wear better. We'll see over time. I'm gonna put some holster wear on this thing and see what it does. Do some draw strokes with it and see how it holds up. So cool, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.